Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Good evening, everyone. So sorry for being too late. So sorry. Today we will learn a very important definition of Nibbāna. Last week we talked about two definitions. Actually, this is the first one is in accordance with the first sermon, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. So, cessation of craving is called Nibbāna. So actually, cessation of suffering, in other words, cessation of craving, they are similar. So in the first sermon, the Buddha said that Nibbāna is nothing but cessation of three types of suffering. So we have a three types of suffering, we have learned that. So another one is according to Jambukattaka Sanyutta. So in that Sutta, Vandara Jambukaraka asked Venerable Sariputta, so what is Nibbāna? What is Nibbāna? So Venerable Sariputta said that Nibbāna is destruction of lust, raga, destruction of hatred, dosa, and destruction of delusion, moha. So that is called Nibbāna. So if we can destroy raga, dosa, and moha, so that is Nibbāna. So I think it is a very easy definition of Nibbāna, I think. For that reason, last week I talked about two definitions of Nibbāna, so easier for us to understand. Another one is last week I talked about different degree of craving. That's important. So if you understand different degree of craving, so you will understand different degree of Nibbāna. So today I will talk about definition of Nibbāna based on suttas or Pali Canon. I think that is very important. That is very important to understand. The word Nibbāyati, Pre-Nibbāyati are found in the suttas very often. So they are the verb form of the word Nibbāna. So we find a lot of usage, Nibbāyati, Pre-Nibbāyati. So if you understand two terms, you understand Nibbāna. So in the suttas, Nibbāyati simply means attains Nibbāna. Attains Nibbāna. Pre-Nibbāyati means fully attains Nibbāna. So actually, pre means completely attain Nibbāna. So this is the meaning of Nibbāyati, Pre-Nibbāyati. So to know about all these one, you can read Sutta Discovery, Volume 50, written by Mr. P.A. and also the Dictionary of Pali by Margaret Kuhn. So actually, I think if you read Sutta Discovery, written by Mr. P.A. I think you will understand the definition of Nibbāna the definition of Nibbāyati, Prinnibbāyati clearly. But of course, he gave a lot of details. Actually, I think many of you know Mr. Pierre Tan. Huh? He is Singaporean. So actually, he is one of my favorite scholars. So actually, I have too much respect to Bhikkhu Bori as well as Mr. Pierre Tan. So he wrote a valuable sutta translations as well as with the annotations, with a lot of references. So it's very reliable. I think many Singaporeans forgot about this, a very precious scholars. He still living in Singapore, a living scholar in Singapore. So his translation very reliable. So for that reason, if I find a difficulty in certain definition, then I go and read his book. So the Discovery series. So I think in his book, you can find detailed explanation about Nibbāyati, Prinnibbāyati, as well as Nibbāna. In the dictionary of Pali, the word Nibbāyati, Prinnibbāyati, mentioned as a to cease to burn. To cease to burn, stopping, to stop to burn, due to lack of fuel. If there's no fuel, so there will be no, the burning will cease. The burning will stop. And also to cease to blow, to go out, to quench, to become cool. I think later you will understand all these definitions. Then I will explain using the suttas with the reference to the suttas. But here, Nibbāyati me, I think you just remember the first one. To cease to burn. Due to lack of fuel. Another one is to quench the thirst. So therefore, Nibbāna literally means going out like a lamp or fire, or quenching or all kinds of thirst, or all kinds of craving. So that is Nibbāna, the meaning of Nibbāna. So Nibbāna is the noun form of Nibbāyati and Prinnibbāyati. Nibbāyati means to cease to burn due to lack of fuels. So the fire is burning. If there's no more fuel, so the fire ceases to burn. So that is the meaning of Nibbāyati. So if you take the noun form of Nibbāyati as a Nibbāna, Nibbāna literally means going out or ceasing to blow or quenching or all kinds of thirst. People are thirsty. If you drink water, your thirst quench. Just like that, if you attain Nibbāna, all type of thirst or all type of craving cease, quench. So that is the meaning of Nibbāna. So for that reason, Bhikkhu Jnana Moli, so in his article, so he said that Nibbāna can be divided to what? Need, vana. So need me, negative, not. Vana me, the effect of blowing. Figuratively, it's called craving. That means without craving. So lack of craving is called Nibbāna. So actually, Nibbāna, I think I will explain using the soda later part. That is just a definition. In the commentaries, Nibbāna is mentioned as a Nibbāna. Nib means negative, vana means craving. In the Abhidhamma Sangaha, the manual of Abhidhamma, Vana Sankhadaya Danaya Nikkhandata Nibbānandi Pauchati. It is called Nibbāna because it is a departure from craving, which is an entanglement. So vana here means entanglement or craving. So Nibbāna means departure from craving. Nib means nikkhanda, departure from craving. If you can depart from craving, you attain Nibbāna. So all these definitions, if you look at here, if you look at the commentary explanations, Nibbāna means without craving. If you do not have a craving, then you attain Nibbāna. It is in according with the first sermon of the Buddha. If there's no craving, there will be cessation of suffering, Nibbāna. So actually, most of the commentary mention that departure from craving is Nibbāna. A very beautiful and figurative term. Nibbāna and fire metaphor. Yeah, actually his noun is the important part. Nibbāna and fire metaphor. So actually I quote a lot of scholar writings. Then after that we will read the suttas. I think you will understand better. Most people know that Nibbāna is a metaphor connected to fire. Connected to fire. So the word comes from Sanskrit verbal root va, to blow, with the prefix need. So the basic meaning is cease to burn and go out like a flame, Actually in Sanskrit it's called Nibbāna. In Pali, Nibbāna. Actually the Pali and Sanskrit, they are linking each other. In the fire sermon, Advaita Priyaya Sutta, Samyutta Nikaya, chapter 35, Sutta number 28. In the fire sermon, the Buddha preaches that our experience is on fire. Our experience is on fire. With the three fires, the fire of passion, raga. But here, he translates Richard Gombrich. Mr. Richard Gombrich, also a very well-known scholar from England. He is a expert in the Sanskrit and Pali. He is a very well-known scholar. Still, how to say, he is still alive. Three fire, the fire of passion, raga. Bhikkhu Bodhi translate raga as a lust. Hatred, dosa. Delusion, moha. Our aim must be for all of them to go out. Actually here, Nibbāna means to go out like a flame. So if, actually here, passion or lust, hatred, delusion are compared with the fire. If all these fire blown up, if all these fire go out, That's Nibbāna. That's Nibbāna. So in the fire sermon, so the Buddha used passion, hatred, delusion as the fires. So if we can quench all these, if you can, if you can cease to burn off, all these fire cease to burn, that's Nibbāna. Sometimes in the canon, the first fire is called passion, sometimes greed as a lobha. But this variation is of no importance. Reference is the same. But here in the first, in the fire sermon, the Buddha give a simile of fires. So there are mainly three fires: lobha, dosa, moha. Sometimes the Buddha use raga, sometimes the Buddha use lobha. Actually, they are synonym, they are the same. So the Buddha give a simile of fire. So if you can extinguish all three fire, that means Nibbāna. Actually, it is no different definition of Venerable Sariputta, right? Nibbāna means destruction of lobha, dosa, moha. Actually very similar, but just that the Buddha gave a simile of fire in the fire sermon. Actually, I have given the translation of fire sermon yesterday. The fires, the Aditapriyaya Soda, sometimes referred to simply as Adita Soda, is popularly known as the fire sermon. Several months after his enlightenment, the Buddha delivers this sermon to an audience of 1,000 fire worshipping ascetics. Ascetics, actually they are also practicing for the liberation, final liberation from samsara. They are sincerely practicing to end their samsara. But their practice is not right. So one of the practice is they worship fire and they tend the fire. So if sometimes they dive into the water, in the cold season, they will go into the river and they will dive into the cold river. The reason is, in their mind, if there is negative mental state arises in their mind, so they will tend the fire. They will stay near the fire. So in this way, they believe that their negative emotion will be burned with the fire. And even cold season, they will dive into the water, very cold, right? If there's negative mental state arises in their mind, they will dive into the cold water. In that way, so their negative mental state subsided. They're trying to torture their body. So we can call it self-mortification practices. They torture their body. They torture their body. So, in this sermon, the Buddha used a fire metaphor, so that quickly penetrates to the heart of the listener. Because they are fire worshipping ascetics, so the Buddha used fire simile. For that reason, it's easier for them to understand. So in this discourse, the Buddha preaches about achieving liberation from suffering through detachment from the internal and external sink species, trying to detach from internal and external basis. So using fire metaphor. So after hearing the sermon, the entire audience attained enlightenment. They became arahant. Using the fire simile. So here, I think you can look at the pictures. They are jatila, matte hair ascetics. They do not shake their hair, and they keep their hair as it is. You know, they don't even take out their time for, for combing their hair, you know. They keep their hair because they sincerely practicing, you know. They're just following asceticism, just like tending the fire and living near the fire, very hot fire, and diving into the very cold weather. They did that by torturing their body, and they were driving away their negative mental state. Suppose if sensual lust arises in their mind, they will quickly go to near the fire, you know, the heat of the fire, and they burn their body with the fire. Either they dive into the cold river. So in this way, they're trying to drive away their negative mental state by torturing their body. They're sincerely following ascetic practices. Then, as you all know, that the Buddha preached the first sermon in the Varanasi. Then after a group of 5 months, so they became Sotapanna. Then the Buddha preached Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, the discourses on non-self. After listening, Anatta Lakkhana Sutta is considered as the second discourse, recorded as the second discourse. So after hearing the discourses on non-self, a group of 5 monks, they became arahant. Then after that, the Buddha, the Yasa and his friend, they became the monks under the Buddha. They are ordained as a Buddhist monk. Then when the Buddha got 60 disciples, he told them to go different places to suppress his teachings. So after that, the Buddha himself went to Uduvela, the place where he strived for his enlightenment. So in that place, the Buddha went to Uduvela to teach 1,000 fire worshipping ascetics. So actually, their group leader is Uduvela Kassapa. 3 brothers. Uduvela Kassapa has 500 disciples, and Nadi Kassapa 300 disciples, and Kaya Kassapa 200 disciples. So altogether 1,000. So the Buddha aim is to trying to teach them his teachings. So before that, he had to convince those ascetics to get impression. So the Buddha performed a lot of miracles. And then for those who want to read full story, so you can read the life of the Buddha according to Pali Canon, written by Bhikkhu Nyanamoli. You can borrow from the library. And if you want to read the original story, so you can go to Mahavaka Pali or the Vinaya Pitaka. Mahavaka Pali, page number 24. Page number 24, Mahavaka Pali. So we have the book called Explain, right? Translation of Mahavaka Pali, the book called Explain. So you can go and read. So the Buddha performed a lot of miracles to get impression, from they are cheat ascetics, Uruvela-Kassapa. So Uruvela-Kassapa think that Gautama Buddha is very powerful. He can perform a lot of miracles, but he is not a arahant like me. He is always thinking like this, you know. So later the Buddha tell him, you know, the Buddha tell him that the Buddha trying to threaten him, Uruvela-Kassapa, you are not arahant. You are not practicing. You are not even on the path to become arahant. Actually, Uruvela-Kassapa became shocked because the Buddha knew his mind. Then, because of that, he is convinced. He requested the Buddha to ordain him as a Buddhist monk. So then the Buddha told Uruvela-Kassapa, you talk to your disciples first that you want to become a Buddhist monk. Then Uruvela-Kassapa talked to all his disciples. Actually, all his disciples have a great impression to the Buddha because the Buddha performed a lot of miracles. So those disciples also decided to become a monks. Then they throw all their belongings to the river, and all his the other two brothers and their follower also living down the stream. You know. They saw the belonging of ascetics and the hair. Actually, they have to shave their hair, you know, to become the monks. So they think that their elder brother is in danger because they came. Then later they found out that their great brother became the monks. So finally, they all became monks. So they are ordained as a Buddhist monks under the Buddha. So altogether, 1,000 fire worshipping ascetic became the monk under the Buddha. Don't forget that they are former ascetics who always tend the fire. So they are very familiar with the fire. So the Buddha think that which kind of discourses he should teach them. And the Buddha decided that if he teach the Dhamma using fire simile, they will understand his teachings easily. For that reason, the Buddha preached fire sermon. The full moon day, actually according to commentary, is the full moon day of and I think it is around December, full moon day of December, maybe I think. So for that reason, in our temple, in Mangala Vihara, we always chant Areta Priyaya Soda on that full moon day. This is very important. That is regarded as a third discourse of the Buddha. The first one is Dhammacakka Bodhana Soda. So in that soda, the Buddha talk about Four Noble Truths. Second one is Anatta Lakkhana Soda, the discourse on non-self. So in that discourse, the Buddha emphasized non-self, anatta. But in this discourse, the Buddha emphasized the nature of suffering. So the fire sermon, actually I will explain a little bit about fire sermon. Nobody print out the sodas? Samyutta Nikaya, chapter 35, soda number 28. So remember that the Buddha is talking to the 1,000 former fire worshipping ascetics. Now they are his disciples. So actually, as I earlier said, that they are sincerely practicing, how to say it, for the liberation, but they don't have a correct practice. But here, the Buddha said that Advaita Sutta, Bhikkhu Bodhi translates it banning. Bhikkhus, all is banning. And what bhikkhus is the all that is banning. Do you remember we have one of the Sutta, Sabba, the all. So in that Sutta, the Buddha said that I will tell you the all, the complete teaching. Eye, ears, right? Sorry, eye, the form. Ear, the sound. Nose, smell. Tongue, taste. The body, and tangible object. The mind, a mind object. These are the all. So the Buddha said, other than these all, nothing in the world. If somebody say, other than these all, I will tell you another all. And the Buddha said that such a one is boasting with the empty word. So this is a Sabba. Actually, Sabba Sutta is a Sutta number 23, but this one is 28. But here also the Buddha said that all are burning. All are burning. Sabba. So here also the same thing. Eye is burning. Forms, something to see, no? Forms are burning. Because of eye and forms, we have a eye consciousness. Eye consciousness is burning. Because of these three, contact. Eye contact is burning. Because of contact, feeling arises. But here the Buddha said that wherever feeling arises with the eye contact as condition, whether pleasant or painful or neither painful nor pleasant, neutral, that too is burning. So here, eye, the form, eye consciousness, and eye contact and feeling that arises because of eye contact. All are burning. And the Buddha said that. Burning with what? Burning with what? The Buddha said, burning with the fire of lust. We call it 11 fire. Burning with the fire of lust, raga. So when you see something with your eye, lust arises. If you are not mindful, if you do not have clear comprehension. So actually here, last Sunday, I gave a Dhamma talk in Buddhist Fellowship. Sati and Sambhajana, comparing with EQ and IQ. EQ and IQ. So here, if we see something with our eye, if we are not mindful, if we do not have a clear comprehension, then lust, the fire of lust will arise. For that reason, in Satipatthana Sutta, so the Buddha reminded his disciples, always have to be mindful wherever we do. With our feeling, our body, our feeling, our mind, and stages of the nature of the phenomena of the mind and physical phenomena. So we have to be very mindful, and we have to clearly comprehend. So when we see something with our eye, if we do not have mindfulness, sati, and clear comprehension, Sambhajana, and lust. The fire of lust will arise. That is the first fire. Then sometime, if you see unpleasant form, the fire of hatred will arise. If you are not mindful, if you do not practice clear comprehension. So for neutral feeling, fire of delusion might arise. Then because of these three, you have a fire of birth, fire of aging, fire of death, fire of sorrow, fire of lamentation, fire of pain, and fire of grief, and fire of despair, upayasa. So the first three fires are the most important. When you see something, pleasant things, the fire of lust might arise. Unpleasant things, the fire of hatred might arise. If you are not mindful, if you don't have a clear comprehension. In neutral feeling, fire of ignorance or delusion might arise. So these are the fire. For that reason, the Buddha used a simile of fire. Eye is burning with the 11 fire. All the time aging, right? And material phenomena in the eye always dying out. Death. Because of impermanent nature of our eye, then we feel sorry, lamentation, Even we crying if something happened to our eye. For that reason, if we are not mindful, if we do not have a clear comprehension, 11 fire will arise. So for that reason, the Buddha said that all is burning with the 11 fire. With the 11 fire. So actually, every discourses are connected each other. So I think if we read the Suttas, I think after you finish all these course or this class, then you just open the Nikaya, one of the pages in five Nikayas. Then you can read any Suttas, and you will find that you already learned all these one. Any pages, one way or another, they are related to each other, Actually, we choose important topics. Then you just, if you finish this course, you just open one page and just read. So you will think that, I have learned all this one. So we have 11 fires. So in this discourse, in the fire sermon, 11 fires are mentioned. Such commentaries give the name as the 11 fires, the 11 fires, the 11 fires. So in Myanmar, very famous, the 11 fire. But it is not found in the Suttas. It doesn't give the name 11, the 11 fires. Just sub-commentary mention the 11 fire. So actually in Myanmar, in normal Buddhists, what they do is they want to extinguish 11 fires. Then they do a lot of rites and rituals. Suppose they have a lot of problems, so they want to get rid of all these problems. They use the 11 fire. So they want to put off, or they want to extinguish the 11 fire. But they do not practice the Noble Eightfold Path. But what they have to do to extinguish all these fire, we have to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. But instead, they practice rites and rituals. They will go to astrology and they will ask some arrangement and they will do it. So actually I don't know in other countries, Myanmar, the 11 fire, the usage of the 11 fire is very popular. But normally, mostly they do not know what are the 11 fires. So actually, the 11 fires are mentioned in the fire sermon. So to extinguish all these fires, so we have to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. According to Satipatthana Sutta, there's only one way to overcome all these fires. So that is mindfulness, or how to say that? The Noble Eightfold Path headed by mindfulness. Headed by mindfulness. So here, what I want to say is the definition of Nibbāna is to cease burning like a flame. So the flame is burning. The flame is burning because of fuels. Because of fuels. If there is no more fuels, the fire will extinguish. So Nibbāna is nothing but extinguishing of all these fires. So in that sutta, the Buddha used fire metaphor. So if you can extinguish all these 11 fires, lest, right? Especially the first three, lest, hatred and delusion. So if you can extinguish 3 fires, you will be able to extinguish all these, the rest of the fire. Especially if you can extinguish fire, then you attain Nibbāna. You can go out. All these fire go out. Or extinguishing of all these fire. That is Nibbāna. That is Nibbāna. So if you look at all these 11 fires, so all the usage can be found in the dependent originations. So the first 3 is ignorance and craving. The first 3. So delusion is ignorance, and lust and hatred is another name for craving. So actually you have already learned in the dependent originations. So I think to make it more, how to say, easily, then we will use another sutta. Before we go to this sutta, I will talk about this one, the I, the form, I consciousness, I contact and feeling. So just like that, we have ear. Ear is burning with the 11 fire. And the sound is burning. Then because of that, ear consciousness also burning. Then ear contact. Then because of ear contact, feeling arises. Feeling also burning because of burning with 11 fires. 11 fires. So if you can extinguish or stop all these fires, you will attain Nibbāna. That is definition of Nibbāna. And also the nose and smell, and the tongue and taste, and the body and tangible object, and the mind and mind object. So all these are burning. So the Buddha told 1,000 fire worshipping ascetics to put out all these fire. Then after listening the Dhamma talk, then all they became arahant. But here the sutta mentioned that why this discourse was being spoken, the mind of the 1,000 bhikkhus were liberated from the taints. So we have 3 types of taints, right? The taints of wrong view, and the taints of existence, the taints of ignorance. So their mind are liberated from all taints or all defilements by not clinging. But here the body by non-clinging. So their mind are not clinging to the 5 senses. 6 senses. So they are no longer attached to their eye, ear, nose, tongue, the body, and the mind. So in this way, so their mind are liberated from taints or defilements. So that is their liberation. So actually they are able to extinguish all 11 fires. So in that way, they attain Nibbāna. They attain Nibbāna. I think I will go to another soda. Then after that, you can ask the question. Only after this discourse. So actually, this one, Vedana Samyoga. So actually, we have already learned about this soda. Soda number 7. So in this discourse, also the Buddha gave a fire metaphor, and the Buddha said that just as bhikkhus, an oil lamp burns independent on the oil and the wick. With the exhaustion of the oil and the wick, it is extinguished. It is went out. It is blown out. Nibbāna. You know the word, the Nibbāna? Nibbāna. It is the verb form of Nibbāna. It's extinguished through the lack of fuel. Through the lack of fuel. But here you can see the picture. So we have a oil. Am I correct? Then we have the wick. Because of two fuel, the fire is still survive. If there's no oil, if there's no wick, the fire automatically extinguish. So these are two fuels. So just like that, it's called extinguish, right? Nibbāna. So to bhikkhus, when a bhikkhu feel a feeling terminating with the body, he understands I feel a feeling terminating with the body. When he feels a feeling terminating with the life, he understands I feel a feeling terminating with the life. So actually we have discussed in the Nibbāna originations. I hope you still remember, right? So because of feeling, craving arises. In the Nibbāna originations, because of feeling, craving arises. Normally, if we have a pleasant feeling and lobha or lust might arise. If we are not mindful and if we are not clear comprehend. Then unpleasant feeling, if we have an unpleasant feeling, hatred, hatred might arise. Then if we have a neutral feeling, ignorance might arise. So because of feeling, craving arises. But here, the Buddha is giving the method how to extinguish craving. So if you have a feeling in your body, you are very mindful, sati, you clear comprehend that there is a pleasant feeling or unpleasant feeling or neutral feeling arises in your body. If there is mindfulness and clear comprehension, so there is no place for craving. Craving extinguished. Because you trying to terminate your feeling with the body. Because in your body, pleasant feeling arises. You just clearly comprehend. You're very mindful. You clearly comprehend that feeling. Because of two positive quality in your mind, craving cannot arise. So in this way, the craving, because of craving, clinging arises, right? Because of clinging, existence bhava arises. So if you don't have a craving and clinging, there's no existence. So that means craving and clinging are fuel. Because of those fuels, you have a lot of problem. So if you can extinguish craving and clinging, that will be Nibbāna. That will be Nibbāna. Here, so the Buddha is talking to the monks to terminate their feeling in the body. Normally, we cannot terminate our feeling in the body. So when we have a pleasant feeling, we crave for it. We're trying to take it and grab it. Because of that grasping and clinging, we have a lot of problem. Another one is when he feels a feeling terminating with the life. He understands and feel a feeling terminating with the life. Actually, I have already discussed all these one in details. And then there are some new people. And then I will repeat again. Then I use the example of Bhikkhuni Khema. The example of Bhikkhuni Khema. So Bhikkhuni Khema is German Bhikkhuni Khema, and so she have a cancer, breast cancer. Then she was living in the hospital. So she was a serious meditator. So in the room, she is lying down alone. So by that time, she is very mindful. So she trying to comprehend, or she trying to understand everything that arises at that moment. So she is very mindful, and she clearly comprehend what is happening in her mind, in her body. That is mindfulness and clear comprehension. So even though she is suffering from the cancer, so she practiced mindfulness and clear comprehension at that moment. So by that time, she noted that life energy, she used the word energy, life energy is moving. Life energy is moving from her toe. She noted that she's going to die because life energy start to move from her foot, starting from her foot. But she is very mindful. She just clearly comprehend what is happening in her body. Life energy is moving from her body. Then she said that death is pleasant if we practice letting go. Letting go here means she doesn't have any attachment to her body. She doesn't have any attachment to her mind. No attachment, anything at that moment. Only mindfulness and clear comprehension arises. She's just aware of what is happening in her mind, in her body, and she noted that life energy is moving from her foot. Slowly moving. So she's going to die. If light energy go off, that means she will die. But she is not afraid. So the reason is she practiced letting go. No attachment to the body, no attachment to the mind. Mindfulness and clear comprehension. Clearly comprehend, clearly understand what is happening in our mind and body. Then she later said that by that time, the doctor came in. The doctor cured, the doctor saved her life. Then if the doctor does not come in, I think she can terminate her feeling with the life. Here, terminating a feeling, terminating with the life. But of course, in her body, there may be unpleasant feeling because of cancer diseases. then she is very mindful, sati, clear comprehend what is happening in her body. It may be pleasant or unpleasant, it doesn't matter. She is very mindful, clear comprehend. Then just mindfulness and clear comprehension govern or predominant at the time. For that reason, because of these positive quality, beautiful qualities, craving cannot arise. Then she will be able to terminate her feeling with this life. And I feel a feeling terminating with the life. Right? Then he understands with the breakup of the body, following the exhaustion of life, you mean after life, all that is fat. You may feeling pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, any feeling, not being delighted in, no attachment, no clinging, no grasping. In the case of Bhikkhuni Khema, just mindfulness and clear comprehension. She just mindful and she just aware of what is happening. Sati and Sampajana. So for that reason, there's no place for craving. If there's no craving, no clinging. No clinging, no existence. So that means she will be able to terminate her feeling in this life. If she can terminate, not being delighted in, will become cool right here. That means she attain Nibbāna. She will attain Nibbāna. So if you continue to practice, that means if the doubter does not come in, didn't come in, then she is very mindful. She's just aware of what is happening in her body. The life energy is moving from the food. Eventually, it will move from her body. Then if she continues to practice mindfulness and clear comprehension, she will be able to terminate her feeling with the life. If she can terminate her feeling in this life, because of feeling, craving cannot arise. If there's no craving, no clinging. No clinging, no new existence. So that will be her less existence. So in this way, all the fire are extinguished. So that means she attained Nibbāna. Nibbāna means to ceasing all fire, 11 fires. So if you look at this soda, so we can understand the simile of fire. So the fire arises because of two reasons, oil and the wick. So if there's no wick and wine, the fire automatically extinguishes. So that means here, in this case, if we practice, if we can terminate our feeling with the body, if we can terminate our feeling with the life, then because of feeling, there will be no craving. No craving, no clinging. No clinging, no new existence. So that will be final Nibbāna. Final Nibbāna. Any question? It's a little bit difficult. I hope if we go further, I think you will be able to, you will understand better. Please.
Bhante, I'm burning with questions, which I hope you can extinguish.
Okay. A very beautiful simile. Eh?
One, when you use the sutta regarding the fuel that makes the fire continue, you mention the oil.
Yeah.
That is necessary. The wick that lights the fire.
Yeah.
as a scientist, I would say there's an additional thing that is necessary in the environment for the fire to burn, and that is oxygen.
Okay.
Okay. Just a comment.
Yeah. So actually here, we have to take simile as a simile. Actually, of course, there are many causes, many causes for the how to say, rising of fire. But if the Buddha say oxygen, people at that time will not understand. Okay, very good. Good point. Please continue.
The second is when you mentioned that Buddha was addressing the fire ascetics, and in order to convince them, he used miracles. Now, I'm very interested to know how Buddha actually addressed the fire ascetics, because in this room there may be max 50 of us, and you need a mic to make sure that you are heard. But you mentioned that there are 1,000 fire ascetics. How did Buddha make sure that whatever he said was heard by those who were in the last row, as it were?
Okay. That's a question.
Yes. Is that one of the miracles that he performed, that he made sure, I don't know how, but he had no IT, no mic? How did he make sure that whatever he said was heard by all the ascetics?
Very good question. How the Buddha, how to say, address or teach the 1,000 monks, to hear. I think that I have to use the commentary explanations. I think commentary, what the commentary say. Actually, of course, the commentary explanation is very for normal the people from outside. It's hard to believe. So, the Buddha, according to commentary, the Buddha just used a normal voice. Anyone, even who is sitting 1,000 miles far away, they were here. Now, of course, this is not acceptable for normal people. But one thing we can explain is that. But of course, at the time, there's no microphone. For that reason, they have to speak out loud to clear people, to make sure that all the audience can hear. Just like at the ancient time, there's no telephone, no electronic devices. But in the battlefield, so the commander-in-chief have to speak out loud, so that all the soldiers in the battlefield can hear. So in the case of the Buddha, I think 1,000 ascetics monks, if they sit down, in the, how to say, the surrounding the Buddha, it might not be very difficult for the Buddha to talk to them. So I will give you one example. In the shrine hall, I do not use microphone to give a 5 precept, to administer 5 precept. Then if I use microphone, I can slow down my voice. If I do not use microphone, I have to make sure that all hear my voice. hear my voice? Just like that, just an example, you know. If I do not use microphone, I have to speak out loud, and also I have to make sure that my voice is very clear. If people sitting, surrounding to me, even using microphone, people can hear. But of course, if we use a commentary explanation, even the people who are sitting 1,000 miles far away, they can hear. Yeah. Okay.
One last burning question.
Okay.
It's to do with Richard Grombich.
Okay.
And the title that was used, What the Buddha Thought.
Thought, yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
In other words, he was trying to say what the Buddha was thinking, what was in his mind, rather than what he taught, teaching.
Yeah.
Is that the correct title?
Actually, yeah, correct title. Actually, he used this title, What the Buddha Thought. So he liked the book, one of the book written by Obula Rahula, What the Buddha Taught. Have you ever heard of the book, What the Buddha Taught? Yeah, written by Obula Rahula. So he liked that book. Actually, he wanted to give that name, but actually no choice, because he cannot give the same name, and he chose a similar one, What the Buddha Taught. But of course, actually, that book is very, very profound. He trying to examine, he trying to read between the lines what the Buddha thought about definition of Nibbāna. So according to him, the Buddha used the word Nibbāna to teach, to separate his teachings among the Brahmins, because as the Brahmins, they believe in the fire. By in the fire, so they believe that they can connect to the God. So actually the Buddha using fire simile, which is very close to the Hinduism, but he used fire as a negative mental state. Fire out lust, fire out hatred, fire out delusion. So by using the word fire, he can educate Brahmin caste. So in that way, so it's easier for him to separate his teachings, according to Mr. Gombrich. So actually, he trying to read between the lines. So it is very profound book, What the Buddha Thought. Okay, so this is any more question? Okay, so if you think that is very difficult, don't worry. I think you will understand in later part. So here, where become cool right here. Where become cool. Actually, if we have a lot of fire in our mind, very hot, right? Very hot. If you do not have any fire in your mind, very cool. A very beautiful term. So the word city is another name for Nibbāna. So we have a different synonym of the word Nibbāna. The word city is a synonym of Nibbāna. So if you do not have any fire in your mind, just like a hatred, just like a lust, delusion, then you will have a feeling of coolness, You'll be cool. That's another name for Nibbāna. So here, I want to talk about the view of life and death by Arahant. So in the Vedana Sanyota, actually this is not much connected with the Nibbāna, but the same sutta. So the Buddha talk about how we can live in the life. And the Buddha said, bhikkhus, actually the Buddha is talking to the Buddha visit the place where the sick monks are staying. So the Buddha is visiting and giving the Dhamma talk to the sick monk. The Buddha said, bhikkhus, a bhikkhu should await his time, mindful and clearly comprehending. This is our instruction to you. But here, they are suffering from diseases. But of course, if they are very suffering, very painful, they will have a hatred in their mind. Hatred is the fire. If the fire of hatred arises in their mind, it may not be very cold, not be very pleasant. So in those circumstances, the Buddha said that they have to await their time. Await their time. Mindful and clearly comprehending. So when they are painful, so they have to mindful that they are pain, they have to clearly understand they are painful. So they just, how to say, await the time. Stay in the present moment. What the Buddha want to say is, stay in the present moment. So when they are pleasant, so when you have unpleasant feeling, you just know that you have unpleasant feeling. If you have unpleasant feeling, you just know that you have unpleasant feeling. So just await the time. Just stay in the present moment. Then I want to use another discourse from Theragatha. So in Theragatha, many arahants talk about their experiences. So this is many senior monks, they talk about their experiences using this philosophy. Actually, very similar verses are talking by different senior era monks. So this is, I think this is how we should live. How arahant live in the life. I do not long for death. Normally, if you have a problem, you have a craving for dying, craving for death, right? You want to die. That is another type of craving. Craving for dying. I do not long for life. Actually, people do not want to die. They are afraid to die. That's another type of craving. Craving for life. So I say arahant, they do not have any craving for death, any craving for life. But I await my time. Stay in the present moment. They just need the time, present moment. Attentive. But here, attentive means clear comprehension, the same thing. And mindful. So they just stay in the present moment, mindfully and clearly comprehension. So they don't have any craving for dying, for death. They don't have any craving for life. They just stay in the present moment, mindfully and with the clear comprehension. That is the way they live. So even though they are suffering, they do not have a craving for death. Even though they have a lot of good things in their life, they do not long for life. What they need is only in the present moment. Just time, Just time. Stay in the present moment. They stay mindfully and with a clear comprehension. So that is life and death for arahant. So I say normal people, so when we have a lot of problem, we don't want to live. That is craving for non-existence. So when the life is very pleasant, we don't want to lose our life. Another craving arises. So we are not staying in the present moment. So because of that, we have a different type of craving. So if we have a craving, clinging arises. If we have a clinging, then resistance will arise. So that is a, the whole mass of suffering will arise in such a way. So here, according to Theravada, so as a arahant, they do not have a craving for death. They don't have a craving for life as well. So they just stay in the present moment. They just await the time attentively and mindfully. That is the way arahant live. So another fire simile from Samudra Nikaya, Upadana Sutta. So the same fire simile is applied here to talk about Nibbāna. Nibbāna means to go out like a flame, or all the flame extinguish. Here, in this sutta, the Buddha said, suppose bhikkhus, a great bonfire was burning, consuming 10, 20, 30, or 40 loads of wood, and a man were not cast drying grass, drying condom, or drying wood into it from time to time. But here, so there is a great bonfire, is burning. So nobody is casting drying grass, putting drying grass, or condom, or any wood. So in that way, that's when the former supply of fuel is exhausted. If there is no fuel, that great bonfire, not being fed with any more fuel, lacking substance, will be extinguished. But here, extinguish means Nibbāna. Nibbāna extinguish. Actually, Nibbāna is the verb form of Nibbāna. But the literal meaning of Nibbāna is extinguishing or ceasing to burn. And the Buddha said that, so too, when one lives contemplating danger in things that can be clung to, craving arises. So craving cease. Craving cease. So that means here things that can be clung to me five aggregate. Normally we cling to the form. We cling to our feeling. We cling to our perception. We cling to volitional formations, and we cling to the consciousness. So these are things that can be clung to. So if you do not have any, if you contemplate danger on them, then craving cease. If there is no craving, so cessation of clinging, upadana. So if there's no clinging, no existence. No existence, no path. No path, no aging and death. No aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, etc. cease. Such is cessation of this whole mass of suffering. But here, what I want to say is, the literal meaning of Nibbāna is extinguishing. So, if you can extinguish craving and clinging, then there will be no existence, no suffering at all. So, Nibbāna means extinguishing of craving and clinging, according to this sutta. So here, the fire Nibbāna is fire metaphor connected to each other. So the Buddha used fire metaphor to explain the definition of Nibbāna. In Pali Canon, the word Nibbāyati, that means to extinguish or to cease to burn. So if there's no fuel, fire extinguish. Just like that, if there's no fuel in our mind, then here fuel means craving and clinging. Wherever you call it, clinging to 6 sin species or clinging to 5 aggregate or anything. So if you do not have a clinging and craving, so there are, how to say that, all the suffering extinguish. So that is definition of Nibbāna. So this fire simile can be found in Ratana Sutta as well. So Ratana Sutta, we always chant the quality of the Sangha, Kinam Purana Navanati Sambhawa. Virata Cheta Yatike Bhawa Samain De Kina Bija Avi Wrongly chant. So actually in the Ratana Sutta, we always chant this line. So in this Sutta also, we can find simile of fire. The Buddha used the word Nibbāna. Nibbāna is another form of verb form of Nibbāna. Nibbāna here me, Nibbāna me, go out. The wise ones go out even as this lamp. So here, the lamp, the fire in the lamp, the fire of the lamp arises because of the fuels, oil and the wick. So if you can extinguish the fuel, the fire extinguish. So just like that, so the Buddha said that with the all extinct, so that means all karma, sankhara, nothing new to be produced. This one is sankhara. The mind detached from future path. So there's no craving for existence. They have destroyed the seed of existence. Here, the seed means consciousness. So if you are destroying consciousness, there will be no new existence. So their desire do not spring up again. But here, desire used as another type of craving. Their desire do not spring up again, and those wise ones go out. So that means extinguish, just like the lamp of fire. So that is another simile in the Ratana Sutta. So this precious jewel is in the Sangha. By this truth, may there be peace, making wish. So this is a quality of the Sangha, the quality of Arahant. So there's no sankhara. Because of that, no consciousness. The consciousness is destroyed. So there's no desire for new existence. There's no craving, no clinging. Because of that, it extinguishes. Attain final Nibbāna, pre-Nibbāyati, is extinguished, to blown off. So that is another final simile in Ratana Sutta. Question? Let me go another one. So this is from Pre-Nibbāna Sutta. Pre-Nibbāna Sutta from Samdha Nikaya. So in this discourse, the Buddha before the Buddha attained final Nibbāna, the Buddha passes away. The Buddha gave the last sermon, Handa Dani Bhikkhve Amanteya Miho. So after giving the first sermon, so the Buddha trying to achieve the first jhana. Then after that, the Buddha go to second jhana, and third jhana, and fourth jhana, rupa jhana. Then after that, the Buddha enter to the first arupa jhana, second, third and fourth arupa jhana. Then after that, the Buddha came back from arupa fourth jhana to third jhana to second to fifth, and the first jhana to the fourth rupa jhana, then and the third rupa jhana, second and the first. Then after that, the Buddha came back again, the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. Then after that, immediately after that, the Buddha passes away. So before the Buddha passes away, he tried to enter the jhana. So when the Buddha passes away, the Brahmin Sahampati, he recited one verses. And the king of the god, the king of the Deva, Sakka, and he also recite one verse. So Venerable Ananda, one verse, and Venerable Anuruddha, two. So actually, in those discourses, in the Nibbāna Sutta, so they use the word Nibbāyati. So Nibbāyati means to cease, to burn. So that means the Buddha do not have any fire, eventually or extinguish. So they use the word Nibbāyati. So this is another one taught by Venerable Anuruddha. With unshrinking mind, he endured the pain, like the quenching of a lamp, with the deliverance of the mind. So here in this discourse, Venerable Anuruddha used the word Nibbāna. Here Nibbāna means the quenching of a lamp. So that means because of oil and the wick, the fire of the lamp arises. Fire arises. Now if there's no fuel, the fire is extinguished. But here also, the Buddha extinguished all type of fire, even the fire aggregate. So that will be Nibbāna, final Nibbāna. But here, the word Nibbāna means extinguishing. To extinguish all type of fire. If we have a fire in our mind, it's very hot. If we can extinguish, then it will be very cool. So that will be the bliss of Nibbāna. Okay, so I think that's all. So let's continue next week. Yo vadatam pavaro manu jesu sakyamuni bhagavakata kecho paragato bala viriya samangi Dan sukatan saranatamu bemi ragavi ragama ninjama sokan dhammama sangata mapatikulan Madhurami mambakunan suvipatan Dhammami mansaranatamu bemi Yatachadena mahapalamahu Chatusu sisu purisa yugesu Atacha bogala Dhammatasate Sangami Mansara Natamupemi. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, good night everyone.